The tension in courtroom 12B could slice through steel. On one side sat Thomas Wexler, billionaire CEO of Wexler Global, philanthropist, and one-time media darling. Now, accused of a multimillion-dollar fraud scheme that had rocked Wall Street and wiped out pensions for hundreds. The media had already sentenced him. Billionaire thief. Greed in a suit. Wexler's empire of lies. But Thomas wasn't thinking about headlines. He was thinking about his mother, a schoolteacher who once worked 3 jobs to raise him in a Brooklyn apartment with no heat. She always told him, "Earn your name. Keep your soul clean." Now here he was, alone and broken, the whole world watching, and judging. And at the worst possible moment, his own defense attorney, Gerald Stein, the best money could buy, stood up and announced, "Your Honor, due to irreconcilable issues, I'm withdrawing from this case. Effective immediately." A gasp echoed. Thomas looked over, stunned. "Gerald, you can't be serious." But Stein was already packing his briefcase. In the third row sat Eva Martinez, unnoticed, like always. Small in stature, humble in dress, Eva was a junior paralegal for Wexler Global's legal team. For 5 years, she had worked quietly behind the scenes. She fetched coffee, transcribed documents, stayed late reviewing contracts no one cared about. And she knew this case better than anyone. She wasn't just filing papers, she was connecting dots. She had seen the holes in the numbers. The forged initials. The strange timing of accounts. She knew there was something off, but no one had listened. Not the lawyers. Not the executives. Not even Thomas. He didn't even know her name. But Eva had seen his humanity. She'd seen the day he gave a scholarship to a janitor's son without cameras present. She'd heard him call employees children on their birthdays. And now, seeing him stand alone, publicly humiliated, Eva did something no one expected. She stood up. And walked forward. "Your Honor," she said, her voice trembling, "if no one else will, I'll defend him." Gasps. Scoffs. A laugh from the opposing counsel. The judge raised his brows. "Excuse me, young lady. I'm Eva Martinez. I'm not a lawyer, but I've worked on this case since the beginning. I know the details inside out. I can prove he didn't do this. You understand that courtroom representation requires a license?" "Yes, Your Honor. I'm not asking to take over the case. I'm asking for time. Time to prove he deserves better than being left defenseless." A silence followed that felt like hours. The judge finally sighed. "Ms. Martinez, you've got 48 hours. Impress me. 48 hours of fire." Eva didn't sleep. She ate 2 protein bars and drank 5 cups of vending machine coffee. She called every old classmate from community college who knew forensic accounting. She stayed up in libraries cross-referencing court precedents. She visited old Wexler employees, interns, custodians. People the investigation ignored. One of them, Carla Brooks, a fired payroll manager, revealed everything. Raymond Keller, the company's CFO, had forced her to sign off on suspicious transfers under Thomas's name. When she refused, she was fired and silenced. Eva recorded the entire conversation. Then, she found something else, an email thread between Keller and Stein, the very lawyer who abandoned Thomas. They'd been covering each other. Stein left the case because Eva's research was getting too close. Back in court, Eva stood at the podium, face pale but eyes burning. "Your Honor, I may not be a lawyer. But truth needs no degree. Just the courage to speak." She laid out the evidence. One piece at a time. Bank statements. Time logs. Fake signatures. Email chains. Carla's recording. Each detail chipped away at the image of guilt painted around Thomas Wexler. And then she said, Thomas Wexler didn't steal. He trusted the wrong people. And when it mattered, they left him. But not me. Because my father died in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And I swore I'd never stay silent again. Thomas watched her in silence. For the first time in months, he felt something deeper than fear. Hope. How had he never noticed her before? This small, fierce woman, defending him with more passion than any million-dollar lawyer he ever hired. She wasn't fighting for money or headlines. She was fighting for justice. After the session, he whispered, "Why are you doing this, Eva?" She looked him in the eyes. "Because I see the good in you. And because someone once believed in me when I had nothing. I'm just returning the favor, to the kind of man I hope the world doesn't lose." The jury deliberated long. Eva waited outside on a bench, her head in her hands. Thomas came out, sitting beside her. "You did more for me than anyone ever has." "I just told the truth," she said, her voice cracking. When the jury returned, the room was silent. "On the charge of wire fraud." "Not guilty." "On the charge of embezzlement, not guilty." Cheers. Tears. And then Thomas did something that shocked everyone. He hugged Eva. And cried into her shoulder. Not like a billionaire. Not like a man cleared. But like a soul finally seen. Epilogue, the foundation of second chances. 3 months later, Eva passed her bar exam, with Thomas personally paying for her prep and sponsoring her application. She now runs the Martinez-Wexler Legal Initiative, defending the falsely accused and underrepresented. Thomas stepped down as CEO and redirected his fortune into justice reform. They sit side by side at every major trial the foundation handles, the billionaire who needed saving, and the woman no one saw coming. And when asked by a young journalist what gave her the courage to speak up, Eva smiled and said, "Sometimes, the only thing scarier than standing up, is staying silent." This story reminds us. Glowing star true strength isn't always found in titles, money, or prestige. Glowing star sometimes, heroes wear no suits, and angels sit in the back row unnoticed. Glowing star and sometimes, all it takes to save a life, is to say, "I believe you."